Hey everybody, welcome. Okay, so Patrice and I, we were trying to come on together, and either I could hear her, but she couldn't hear me, or she could hear me and I couldn't hear her, and it just wasn't working. So let me know, can you hear me? Let me know. And I'm so sorry for those of you that have been waiting and waiting and waiting. We were really, really trying to both of us get on here. So can you hear me? Okay, sound is great. I'm going to try to add my other camera. Hopefully that doesn't mess things up. So let me try to do that. If it makes it where you can't hear me, I don't know. Maybe we'll try again next week. But something is really buggy. Something is really buggy. Okay, I'm going to try to add my other camera. Can you still hear me? So I know you guys could hear me at first. Just let me know. Say something like, still hear you. Yes, we can still hear. Okay, thanks, Patrice. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Okay, so yeah, we were taking that entire time to try and figure out what was going on. So let me move something real quick because I didn't really get a chance to set up too well. But I have everything pretty much in my room because I was sewing on these yesterday. So I'm probably just going to make one. Probably just going to make one of these. All right, but welcome. Thank you guys so much for your patience, for being here, and all of that. I feel like my camera needs to be lifted up just a little bit. Sorry that my armpit is in your face. There we go. That's probably better. So let me start by saying hi. I'll start by saying hi. Kristen says, I've always wanted to make these, but haven't tried yet. I have a couple different ways, and I'm going to be doing a video on it. And I'll kind of talk about the differences. Hey, LaShawn, welcome. Hey, V. You just bought a serger, still in the box on the kitchen table. That's exciting. That's exciting. What's your first project going to be? I need some serger projects. Hey, Nikki. Hi, Sharon. Hi, Jennifer and Martha. Welcome, Evelyn. You're so sleepy, but going to try to stay awake for a bit. Thank you. Hey, Cheryl. Welcome. Hi, Robin. Hope you guys have had a great day. Hi, Rosetta. Okay, let's see. How do you know a vampire is unwell? How do you know? He will be coughing. That's funny. That is funny. Why did the hairdresser win the race? He knew it was a shortcut. Cute. Thank you for entertaining while you guys were so patiently waiting on me. Hey, Stacy. All righty. The longest word in English, supercalifragilisticexpialidocious. It got fired. Hey, Bonnie Creations. I did not see the end of your live. I hope that you hope it all went well. Hey, Eve. Oh, thank you, Sharon. She said, hit the thumbs up. Hey, Cindy. Welcome. And Monique. Let's see. Cutie Yolanda. Welcome. Hey, Mylene. Okay, so this is where people can start hearing me. So I'm going to go ahead and kind of scroll past all this. Hey, Creative Notions. If I missed you, I do apologize. Hi, Geneva. I see you. Pamela. Hey, Tanu. Hey, Mrs. Parker. I hope you're doing okay. Okay. Hey, Kathy. And Lena Doyle. Hey, Joyce. Hey, SB Designs. Hey, Angel B. And Totally Tanya. Welcome. Okay, so I have been playing around with these, and so I don't know if you remember, but some time ago, not 10 years ago like Patrice says, but some time ago, I got a Husqvarna embroidery slash sewing machine. That was my first embroidery machine. And I had it 2 years or so, and then I got the Poulin flatbed, which is so easy to operate, and the software is more modern and all that. So really, I've just stayed with that. And then I got the multi-needle. And so yesterday, I decided to get that Husqvarna Viking out, take the embroidery arm off, and use it as a sewing machine. So yesterday, I think it was yesterday, Patrice was asking, does anybody, not 20 years ago, Patrice, no. Hey, T. Thompson. She asked, does anybody sew standing up? And I had said, if I had a push button, I would try it because I've seen Stacy sew standing up, and it looks nice. So I used that Husqvarna Viking sewing machine yesterday. It has a push start and stop, but you can also use the foot pedal. It has a push for the back stitch. It has various speeds. If you use the pedal, it's going to be set to the speed you have on there, but the pedal actually gives you variable speed, so you can press down less and it'll go slower. But I had a hard time. I had a very, very hard time. And so I made this. Let me just remove this for now. I made this one, and if you can see the details of it, it looks tragic. It looks really bad. Now that side looks cute. This side looks bad. It's not lined up correctly. I wasn't used to the feel of that other machine. So I decided I'm going to redeem myself and make one of these tonight on my good old mechanical Singer sewing machine. So that's what we're going to do. I'm also going to change some of the dimensions. So this fabric started out at 30 inches long, 3 inches wide. I think the fabric size is okay, but this is 3/4 inch wide elastic, the non-rolling type. I cut it at 9.5 inches, and I thought, well, that's plenty big for my hand and my wrist. Once you get everything else on there and you take up some room with that, it's kind of a tight fit. Also, because the elastic is shorter, you have less room to work in when you're trying to work on this smooth edge. So tonight, and where is my elastic? It's in here. Tonight, I'm going to start with an 11-inch piece of elastic, because if I find that I think that's too big, I can always decrease that size. So we're going to start with an 11-inch piece of elastic, and then I think I'm going to use my laser to cut another piece of fabric at 30 inches by 3 inches. My hardware has an inch opening on the inside. Now my other hardware I have is this type of hardware, and I have it in a lot of different colors. I like it too. It's also an inch wide. The difference is, whereas this one, even though it's an inch wide, it can contain that fabric. The fabric is inside there. If I use this one, the fabric is slightly wider than an inch, and it's going to be sticking out unless you fold it under or something. So when I do my video, I'm probably going to use 27 by 3 inches for this one, 30 inches by 3 inches for this one, and I'll probably use 30 inch by 2 3/4 inches. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we're going to redo this one tonight. So, hey, Dorica. Yes, Kristen, that's what we are going to use tonight. Thank you for putting that in there. 30 inches by 3 inches, 11 inches of 3/4 inch wide elastic. Hey, Diane. Hi, Coretta. Hopefully I didn't. Hi, Donzel. Hey, Rob. Shamika, did I say hi to you? If not, hello, my Shamika, as you say, my Marilyn. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. This is what I used to cut off of yesterday, and I used my little Stripology ruler. Oh, wait a minute. How long are you? Oh, there we go. Okay. I was a little concerned. So what I don't know is my laser wide enough to see that whole thing if I put it in there? That's what we're going to try. So let me go ahead and put in the laser, and then I'll open the software and pull it up onto the screen. Oh, okay, hold on. My laser's unplugged because we were having storms today. And whenever we have storms where there's thunder and lightning, I unplug my more expensive machines. There we go. Okay, so for this, I'm going to cut this in my X Tool P2. And that is a CO2 laser, but you can also cut fabric on a diode laser. Matter of fact, Patrice today was cutting sequin fabric on a diode laser. She had a members live. Okay, let me go ahead and open my software. And add my screen. And so Patrice won't be on with me because we could not get the sound to work. Could not. That's so sad. All right, so let me share that screen. And then I'll pull up my Xtool Creative Space. Now, Xtool has two softwares. One's called Creative Space. Their newer software is called Xtool Studio. So I use Xtool Studio for my Xtool M2. But because I know how to use Xtool Creative Space with my P2, I'm going to use it. Hey, Kelly. Hi, Elba. All right, so let me go ahead and pull that up. So this is their older software. If you get an Xtool, I would not recommend use this. Use the new one, create Xtool Studio. But we're going to say new project. Oh, and I did another design, kind of like I did on live last week. I'll show it to you guys in a little bit. Okay, there's my fabric in there, and it is folded over. So there's raw edges here, and the fold is right here. So let's go ahead and make a rectangle. And I want my rectangle to be a little over 15 inches by 3 inches. So I'm going to go ahead and change this to, let's go 15 1/4, because I'm going to have that off the right side a little bit so I don't make a cut where it's folded. And then, is that already unlocked? Okay, I'd have to click it to lock it. Let me see. Okay, so now I have something that is 15 1/4 by 3. So we're just going to move this right off the end, and let me angle it a little bit like my fabric is. Oops. Well, maybe not. Maybe not. Let me fix my fabric instead. Hey, Unbiased, thank you. Now, I went over here to see if the screen refreshed, and so let's go ahead and hit it again in case it did and I, missed it. There we go. Okay, that looks a little bit straighter. Okay, so notice how it is off the end, and it's going to go ahead and cut off just a little bit up there. I do want to look more closely down here, though. So with this, I can use this close shot. I click on it, and then I bring the little camera to where I want to look really closely. So it's going to zoom in on that spot or highlight that spot. And I can see that the cut is off the side. Now I'm a little bit nervous. Let's move it just a tiny bit more. And then here's what I use. You go up to Unknown Materials. Hey, Linda Gray. You'll be in the bushes. Have 3 jackets to embellish, 2 adult, 1 toddler, and I'm waiting on the dress. They will be used for elegant night on a cruise. Nice. Same customer you did something else for, but I can't read that far. Okay, so I'm going to use this 1/77 inch, and I'll confirm. And hopefully this goes through the 2 layers just fine. I also need to move it over here to cut. That's going to give me a power of 80 and a speed of 40. So I'll go ahead and cut this, and then before I move it, I'll make sure that it did cut all the way through. So I'll hit process. It gives me a preview. I'll click start, and then I'll have to go push that button. I also have a filter I'm going to turn on, and this shouldn't take very long. It should be a pretty quick cut. Hey, Yo-Yo Designs. The same customer you did the prom jacket. Oh, the red. I think it was red. It was so pretty. All right, so it shows here how long it's estimating, and I'm sorry if I'm yelling. Kristen, I should have. Okay, meanwhile, let me go ahead and cut this at 11 inches. Okay, so it cut all the way through, with the exception, here, let me go ahead and stop sharing the screen. With the exception of where it was folded over, because it was kind of humped up, there is just 2 little bitty places that I need to cut through. And it kind of veered off a little. Oh, I'll bet it was humped up kind of over a little bit. So it's not perfectly straight, and that's my fault. There's a little bit taken out there. So I'll just have to be mindful and maybe do a slightly larger seam allowance. Okay. Now I still have some pink thread on here. Is that what I used? Oh no, I used white on this. This light pink will be fine. There's whites, there's pinks, there's orange, there's green. And I don't really want my thread to jump out. So this really light pink should be fine. Okay. Let me just move this out of the way. So first step that I want to do is I want to, let me add this back. What I want to do, and I'm only going to fold this so that when I sew it, it keeps memory of how it should be. So I am going to fold it into like this. Hopefully you guys can see that. Let me. Hey, Marliese and Danny. I'm going to fold it into long ways like this, and then I'm going to iron it there. And that's just going to keep it so it kind of stays put when I sew it. So, should have had my iron on, and I didn't. But that won't take very long to heat up. And it's too far away because yesterday I was sewing from that side of the table. So give me a minute to adjust that. Okay, so what are you guys working on tonight? Relaxing, cleaning up after dinner, getting ready to watch the World Cup. There's a game that comes on in a little less than 2 hours. Oh, goodness. Okay, so we're just going to fold this in 2 and press. See you, Nicole. Enjoy Bible study. Oh, yes. Thank you, Geneva. What I have to do is select one and then get rid of it. Elba said, I just got home and I'm going to have dinner. Okay, we have to let this heat up. Enjoy, Elba. We had Chinese food tonight. I had, what's it called? Chicken broccoli. Broccoli chicken. I don't know. But it's grilled chicken or pan-seared chicken. I don't even know what it'd be called. It's not breaded. It's just like a grilled chicken. Relaxing soda purse from some old jeans. Awesome. That sounds cool. Bobby said, I love making those. They sell so well at the craft shows. Can't wait to see how you do it. Maybe you have an easier way than me. I've seen multiple ways. Like one of the ways that I saw was kind of how Dimps does her scrunchy ponytail holders. The burrito method where you shove everything in the middle and you kind of sew outside of that and you keep pulling it out. That's one method I saw. This method I saw is where you use hardware that you're putting, let's see, using hardware where this is going through it. And then the other method is where, let me do it with this camera. You have this type of hardware. You don't necessarily have to finish off your scrunchie as much when you use this. But I don't like that kind of messy look in there. So even if I was using that, I'd probably still finish off my scrunchie. Grilled burgers and corn and fries, like sweet corn or canned corn, like corn on the cob or canned corn or frozen corn, whatever. Corn on the cob around here is really good right now. Okay, it was fun. You use the button and button loop from waistband for closure. Oh, that kind of sounds like a Rachel-esque project. Kristen, did you post a picture? You know we want to see it. I loved your jelly roll hat. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get this nice and pressed down. Again, the only reason I'm pressing it is so that when I go to sew this raw edge, I don't really have to pin and clip and all that. I mean, it's going to stay right there. Okay. Walmart corn on the cob yesterday was delicious. I like getting at Walmart because they have the barrels there, the trash cans that you can just go ahead and shuck it there. Instead of having those strings all over your own home, you keep them in the store, and I like that. Okay, so I need to consider the fact that, well, number one, I need to consider the fact that my sewing machine is not plugged in. But what I was going to say is I need to consider the fact that when I had that folded over in the laser, it wasn't really folded perfectly straight. And so I got a little wobble in it in one area. So I'm going to have to do a slightly larger stitch, most likely, to deal with that. Okay. Let's see. Let's see if this guy is plugged into the wall. I think it is. Yep, it came on. It is now, Rachel. Yeah, yesterday I was using a different machine, and I still had that on my table when I started to go live. And I had to switch it real quick. Okay. I am really bad at doing sewing videos. What I have on the floor over there? Junk? No, that's my Husqvarna Viking one down there. There's my serger. See my serger over there? That poor serger that gets ignored. Poor thing. Hey, Retired Crafter 22. Okay, so let me find that little lump It is right here, and it goes down to there. So let me see. If I stitch with that on the side, it's barely going to cover it. So what I'm going to try to do, instead of using this side of my presser foot, I'm going to go slightly past that side of my presser foot. And so let's see. Hopefully that'll be fine right there. All right. Find my foot pedal down here. I got to kick my shoe off because I so barefooted. And then hopefully this is going to reach to the ground. Yep. All right, so I don't think that you would have to do a reverse stitch here, but I'm going to. So I'm going to go ahead and start forward, go backwards, and then I'm going to try really hard to concentrate and keep that stitch fairly straight. And I'm just holding up right here. I'm holding up on it, kind of like maybe you would do if you're doing the jelly roll rug things. I'm just holding it in the air, and I don't know why I have my hand on here. It just makes me feel good. And my stitch length is 2.5. It's hard for me to concentrate this long. I want to look at the chat. Now here's the area right here that I have to get by. And I have plenty of room to get by now. We're all good. Now I kind of veered back over, so I'm not perfectly straight. This thing is going to be so bunched up. You are not going to notice that. Let's see. Do you have to husk them hot by yourself, or is it served that way? Okay, I missed what she said. Keep corn the husk and then roast at 350 for 30 to 40 minutes. I actually, if I don't pre-husk it, so when I take the husk off in the store, I boil mine, and I don't boil it very long because I like it still slightly crunchy. So I cook it for at the most 5 minutes. If I leave the husk on, like Tim brought some home the other day, then I'm going to put it in the microwave. I'm going to soak it in water, I'm going to put it in the microwave, and I'm going to cook them in the microwave. And then you cut that husk end off, the stalk end off, and then you can just squeeze the corn right out. It just slides right out of it. And that's a really easy, nice way too. Okay, so I am not going to leave this open at the end. I'm going to come down here, turn, and I don't want to waste too much fabric on it, but I'm going to turn. Let's go one more. And then I'm coming this way, and I'll show you why I'm doing that here in just a minute. I think I might have talked about it on live last week, but you can just sew right off the end here. And the reason I did that is, let me pull this up some. The reason I do that is so that I can just take this chopstick. I'm going to use the nice soft edge, the rounded edge. Oh, what happened an hour ago? Sharon, did you go to a fish fry? Sharon, did you go to a fish fry? Fried catfish, sweet potato fries. I love sweet potato fries. There you go, getting that fried okra in. It's all yummy, isn't it? Yes. Okay, so I'm trying to pull this apart, and then I want to make kind of a flat end down here to put my chopstick on, and then I would typically put it either on the table or against my chest. And getting this started is the only thing that requires a little bit of patience, but it's starting. So now to turn this, I'm just going to press it like this. I I see you, Patrice. And then I can go ahead and take that out, and then it's easy to slide through. Now, because I don't want to waste much fabric down here, see how it's curvy? So now I'm going to go ahead and put this chopstick back in it, or you could use like a bone folder or whatever, but I'm going to put the harder edge of the chopstick in, and we're going to get those corners pushed out as much as we can so that we don't have to cut off as much fabric. Because if it's angled way down here, you'd have to cut down to here. This way I can just cut right across there. Hey, Lolita. All right, so all I'm going to do is cut off this edge. And then it's time for more ironing. All right, I didn't get it very straight. Let me fix that. Okay, so I want this seam to not really be apparent. I don't really want it to stand out. And so the seam is going to go toward the inside of your wristlet. Hey, Linda. And so we're going to turn this. You guys, is anybody in the chat in the health profession, medical profession? Do we have any people that work in nursing homes or hospitals or doctor's office or know much about bug bites? I don't know if I can. It's not really showing there. Oh, it looks so much better. Okay, I gotta look. I should. Oh, I did take a picture because I sent it to my friend. Oh my gosh, it is so much better. I'll have to show you later. It was a huge round puffy thing on my elbow. We've watched the same video, Bobby? All right, so we are going to press this out. And regardless of whether I do it in the enclosed, the circle ring thingy, or if I do it in the claspy thingy, I would do this exact same step. It'll just change up here a little bit. Dust mites, maybe. It looked like a huge mosquito bite. And when I go outside and other people are sitting around and they're not getting bit, I'm getting bit and they're swelling up. So something about my blood or something that those mosquitoes really like. What's weird is I barely went outside today. So I don't know when it got me. Hey, January baby, welcome. Okay, I'm kind of getting off of the center, but it'll be fine. Also, the little part that I sewed in there could be twisting one way or the other way. Again, this is so bunched up that it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect. Okay. But remember, I folded it in two before I sewed it just to give it some memory. And so I want to go back and do the top now. Thank you, Sharon. I got the sweet juice. My blood is the sweet juice. Oh. Okay. So almost done here. Now I think that small patterns might look better on these than what this does. Mosquitoes like the heat, the CO2. I got lots of CO2 coming off my body. Okay, so now it's time to put the elastic in. And so I have this little bodkin. And so it's like that. And then to open up the mouth, I would call that the mouth or the jaw. You lift this and you see that opens up. And let me see if you can see those teeth in there. See those teeth? One over here and one over here. They're offset. And then there's a void in there, so the tooth goes down into the void. So it holds it really nice and sturdy. Now watch, it'll come out. So I'm just going to put my elastic in there and then close this down, and see how nice that holds? It does a really good job. If you have safety pins, or you could just, once you start in, you could pin it. Well, let me do this first. Let me just start getting it inside. And then what I don't want to happen is for this elastic to go through. And so let's go ahead and put a couple of clips down here. Whatever you want to use to keep your elastic from going through, from pulling through. Anything that works is fine. Okay, so we're going to feed this through just like if you were using a good old-fashioned safety pin. Pull this down. Keep feeding through. And pull back down. Don't worry if it gets where it's not evenly scrunched, because you can always adjust that later. Okay, so now I'm going to do the same thing here, but first we have to lift up this white lever and then just put it back down to store it, and then let's put a couple of clips in here. And hopefully this next part will be easier than it was when I was using 9.5 inches of elastic. So I want to make some room down here, because now I'm going to sew this piece of the elastic to this piece of the elastic. So we're going to make some room, scrunch this all toward the center. And then that's the inside. Let me get this extra thread off. Bobby, if you're asking me what this thing's called, it's called a bodkin. And there's various types of bodkins. I'm thinking I first heard of a bodkin from Dimps, maybe? Hey, I missed Dimps's video today, but my husband told me she was on live when she was sailing off, or getting ready to sail off. I don't know, I haven't seen it yet. Okay, so I have close to a 1/2 inch of overlap. And what I want to do is I want to sew along this side to secure it, and then I'm going to sew along this side to secure it. Some people will do a zigzag stitch. I feel like a zigzag stitch is meant, you know, to stretch and give, and I want this to be really secure. So I'm just going to use a straight stitch on this side and a straight stitch on this side. Tip: if you trim the corners off in the shape of arrow, it slides. Oh, that's a nice little hint. I like that, Chris. And I guess if it were tight, that would especially be important. She's going on a cruise, Evelyn. And since she was on live, I think it's fine for me to say that. Alrighty. So this is going to get covered up. So if this isn't beautiful, it's going to be okay. But I'm going to do this side first so that I can see. This is where I really had a hard time with that new sewing machine. I don't know. I guess maybe I was afraid to keep my fingers under there. With this one, I've worked with this machine so long. Watch, I'll bite myself tonight with it. I worked with this one so long, I feel comfortable with it. Okay, start over. Maybe I should pin this, but it'll be fine. Okay. Let me go ahead and get a stitch down in there. And where's my foot pedal? I'm going to go back and forth several times. I need more. I need it closer to the edge of the table. Hey, JB. You're welcome. Oh, Addie, I love it. Love, love, love it. All right, so I'm going to hand do some of this just so I can control it. Let's go ahead and do a little reverse stitch. Come on. And then I can just hold it secure, but I have my fingers out of the way. And I look like I'm getting off. I look like I'm getting off of that. Now, instead of back stitching, I'm going to turn it because I want to see what, oh, I'm on it. I'm on it. Not wonderfully so, but I'm on it. Here, let's lift up and move over. And try to straighten this up. My thread is messy under there. Messy, messy. All right. Okay, so let's lift up now and then trim a lot of that junk away. Now, so I have this side secured down, not beautifully so, but I have it secured down. Let's turn it over and do this side now. See it just flap up. Hopefully when I do the outside fabric, it's a little prettier than that. Again, it's inside. It doesn't matter what it looks like, but you definitely don't want your wristlets to come apart. Okay. So this next part, I think I saw somebody with Patch in their name show this. And what this person did, first of all, we want to get it away from that because that's already thick. And then we're going to add a layer here and a layer here. And I'll tell you, when I was sewing this with my Husqvarna yesterday, I was amazed at how it struggled getting up over that elastic. I'm just so used to using this old mechanical machine that rarely has any issues with that stuff. Okay, where's my opening? Where's my opening? Where's my opening? I lost it. Here it is. Okay, so it's away from the bunchiness. I think it's over here. And so eventually this is going to be like this, but it's okay if it's like this for now. What I want to do is I want to fold one of these under so that it looks finished off, and then I'm going to poke the other side into it. And so it really doesn't matter which one. Let's try to push this one under. And you could do this before you put, you know, this on the elastic. I almost thought about sewing this down before I even put the one stitch in it. Just turning it down and sewing it. You'd have a little seam show there, but on the next step, you could try to sew right over that. Okay, so here's what we have. See, it's just folded under and it's pretty even. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and shove it inside there. And so I'm going to hold this, I'm folding it over a little bit, and I'm actually going to pull this up over it. And then after I do that, I'm going to try to unfold it because I don't want this to be narrower than this. And I'll show you what I mean in just a minute. Okay, is there anyone here that missed Demps and Patrice doing those swimsuits? They did such a good job on those. Okay, so I overlapped it by, I don't know, 1/3 of an inch or so. And so now I want to straighten out the fabric that's on the inside so that it's as wide as this. And I'm going to see if this helps me. Kelly, 15 months. Thank you. Okay, what did Bias say? Hi, Gail. and hide the other gal. A zigzag stitch is what I use for elastic. Okay. You lost 12 minutes of the live. Oh no. Merlinda, did I say hi to you yet? If not, hello. And qualities. I use a zigzag with anything else stretchy, but not on this. Okay. Okay. So that looks to be, okay, that looks pretty good. It's straightened out pretty well. So now what I want to do, and I care more about this side because this is going to be the outside. I want to keep all the bunches away from it, and I just want to tack this down. I feel like it's not perfect yet, but it's going to be perfect enough. And I want to sew this, you know, pretty close so it doesn't gap up. So I want to sew pretty close to this little seam right here. And if you weren't here when I started, the first one that I did, I only used 9.5 inches of elastic, and it made all this stuff under the needle much more difficult because it was 2 inches shorter, and so, you know, there just wasn't really much room in there to do anything. So where's my foot pedal? Move this again. And move some more, which means I need to move my camera some more. Okay, one more adjustment. Okay, so I'm wanting to keep the needle really close to this left edge. And I may hand crank it most of the way just to be safe. And right here is where that Husqvarna Viking last night was struggling getting up over that elastic, because you're starting out with just fabric, and then you're getting over 2 layers of elastic. Okay, so I'm going to sew to the edge, and then I'm going to go ahead and pivot because I don't drive backwards very well, and I want to try to stay really close to that. And before I come back, let's just go ahead and trim off these stitches. Now, one thing I loved about that Husqvarna Viking is it had the trim button. You just push a button and it trims your thread for you. Okay. So we're going to go right back down this, and I can tell I'm getting off a little bit, but it's still better than it was yesterday. When I get to the edge, I'm going to go backwards just a few stitches. Oh my gosh. You know what I didn't do? I did not put my hardware on. No! So for the type I was doing, I was supposed to put my hardware on before I stitched that down. So here's what you could do. If you wanted to, because I didn't put the hardware on there, you could actually use this one for this hardware, which just goes like that. But remember earlier I said for the wristlets I make with this, I'm going to make my fabric narrower because you see a little bit of fabric peeking out from those edges. I don't like that. So seam ripper time. Seam ripper time. All those nice stitches I put in there. They look so short. I'm on almost 2.5 inch, or I'm sorry, 2.5 stitch length. Oh. Did anybody in the chat notice that? If you know how to make these, it'll be okay. It'll be okay. All right. When I do my video, I better have notes beside me that I look at. How wide's the elastic? This is 3/4 inch wide. So yeah, if you wanted to use the jaw type, you could fold your fabric under it so that it would be just barely over 3/4 inches wide. And you could do it that way. It's just that it would kind of taper in. And I'm not sure I would like that look. Hard to make money when you have to go back and undo stuff. But if you wanted to make these for a vendor show, I would just cut, 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 cut. You know, I would do the steps. I think Gail has talked about it before. When she's sewing things, sometimes she'll do batching, where she's doing the same process over and over and over on different pieces, and then she goes back and does the next step. Boy, these stitches seem little. You need to start journaling your crafting. Yeah, I need to do a good job of that too. Hammer time instead of hammer time at seam ripper. I noticed no hardware, but I came in later. Didn't know. Yeah. It'll be fine. If I did it perfect the first time, it's only 7:40. We wouldn't be on here very long, which we won't be on here super long anyway, but okay, now I'm getting somewhere. At least on this side of them. So is everybody else having tons of rain like we are? Mylene, what's in your cart? A seam ripper? Oh my goodness. Buy like a package of 5 seam rippers. Seam rippers are those things. It's kind of like seeing glasses. If you can't find it, it is very frustrating. So I bet I have 7 seam rippers. Yes, stupid back stitches. Okay. We're done with that. We still have to cut open this stupid elastic. And then, which means I have to seam rip the elastic or I'm going to lose quite a bit of it. Or do I just cut a new piece of elastic and use this one for a kid's size? Let me see how hard it's going to be to get the elastic seam ripped. Under or leaving them exposed. I folded one edge under and then I tucked the other one in so that it looks finished off nicely unbiased. Of course, now this is going to have so many holes in it, I'm going to have to tuck it in a little further. Okay, so let's go find where I put the elastic together. There it is. That is a lot of stitches, guys. A lot of stitches. A sock hoop. Oh, you're welcome. The storm's heading your way. How much is 9 inches of elastic worth? My mother was a child in the Depression, so it is hard for me to not use usable stuff. But if anybody sees 3/4 inch elastic on Amazon and you figure out how much it is per inch, let me know. I'm curious how much I'd waste if I just cut this and threw it in the trash can. Of course, I don't care what this looks like because it's going to be hidden. Okay, I'm getting there. I'm not even going to worry about taking all this out. 75 cents or so for the 9 inches. I should have just cut it, but I'm so close now that I'll just keep going. Let's see. Pull the 2 pieces elastic part where it's stitched. Put the ball part of the ripper in seam and rip. Here's what I'm thinking. See, I can get under all that now by stretching it like that. Is that kind of what you mean? Is that what that ball is for, Chris? Ooh. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We're just going to trim a little of this off and call it good. Okay. Of course, I'm going to be sewing over all those stitches. Alrighty. So here is, here's my, let me just get another one. What I do with them, What did I do with them? Okay, we're going to use this gunmetal. It's really, really dark. It's really pretty. It doesn't look as dark in the camera as what it is. But see, there's black in this, so we're going to put this on there. In the end, you want it to be, you want the flat part to be where the seam is. If you put it on incorrectly, it's no big deal because you can always flip it over later. But we're going to put that in there. And we're going to go back 2 steps and sew these together again. And then, Bias, I think you were saying you would do a zigzag there and turn it over and do one there. Let's see. That looks like a buttonhole. That looks like, let's stitch with, okay, let me try it. The only other hoop, my 4x4 has a 3x3 sock hoop over $100. Whew. It's an expensive little sock hoop. I can buy a lot of socks at Walmart for that. Of course, I guess you're not making socks, you're just sewing on socks or embroidering on socks. Okay. Where's my foot pedal? There it is. Rachel, I need to see your sewing set up. I need help. I need camera help. Okay, is this similar to a pacifier holder? Probably. You could have this hold your pacifiers. Not your pacifiers, but you know what I mean. Oh. That's not very wide. Stitch length. Oh, maybe I do this. There we go. Okay. So there's one side. That looks like a royal mess. Looks like a royal mess. Are you guys putting me in the basement? Who are you putting in the basement? Hey, Stephanie. All right, so we're going back to this side. Oh, I just undid my thread. Fortunately, I can thread these without my glasses. It's just my multi-needle that has such tiny little holes in the needles. All right, so let's put this down. And I'm going to get the needle in it. Do the same thing. Okay, there is no way this thing is going to come undone. So let's go ahead and put that back to a straight stitch. Now's when we're going to make sure that where this and this come together is not over that thick area. That thick, nasty looking area. So let's just pull it. Past it. And then this is still folded under. See how it's folded under? I thought I'd need to fold it under more because I thought you'd see holes. I think it looks fine. I'm not going to worry about it. But then I'm going to tuck this other side in there. And just like last time, to get it to easily tuck, I'm going to just kind of gather it up at the bottom. And then I'll pull this side that's folded over down over the raw edges. Ooh, can you guys hear the thunder here? Let me unplug my laser real quick. I have my lasers unplugged. I have my embroidery machine unplugged. Okay, so now I want to get this kind of straightened out again so it's about the same width as the part that was tucked under. Let's look at the inside, not that it matters as much. Okay. And so just like last time, I'm going to stitch just barely inside that. Here, let's do it this way. And I don't want it to be all bunched up because I want it to look really smooth there. And let's see. So I'm going to go ahead, just like last time. I'm probably going to use the hand wheel a lot for this. Go in a couple stitches, go back a couple stitches. Okay. I'm going to come all the way to the edge. And then I'm just going to flip it like that and trim my fabric, or trim my thread without cutting my fabric. And then we're going to come back this way. We're going to try to be on top of those stitches I just did. And we're not quite on them, but we're close enough. Then I'm going to go back a little bit toward the center and call it good. Okay, so that's close. It's not right on top of each other, but it's close. Okay, so now I want this seam to be somewhat close to the hardware. And what I'm going to do is, I think, should I do a box or just back and forth? What did I do on this one? I just did it back and forth on that one. Okay, we'll just go back and forth. And I want to stay away from the hardware so I'm not fighting it with my machine. So that's probably good right there. Now I want to try to have the fabric smooth. And I'm going to take it in a little ways because I'm going to start with a back stitch. So I want to get away from that edge. And hopefully these are lined up. It'll look much nicer if they're actually lined up. And okay, let's go ahead and do a stitch, maybe two. I'm going to increase my stitch length. Now let's go backwards. Can I fit one more in there? Yep, kind of. I think I just ran off the side. Okay, I'm going to stretch all this out. Come on. Oh, I just hit something. That sounded hard. Whoops, it went through. I don't know what that was. Did I break my needle? Nope. Okay, I'm not going to go backwards. I'm going to turn it. Again, I sew better going straight than backwards, or forwards than backwards. I don't know what that is. I don't know if it's just hitting some of that elastic or what. Okay, now let's go back to the center. I'm just going to stop somewhere in here. And we did it. We did it. Now let's trim up these threads. I'm not good enough at this. Like, I don't think I would be able to sell these at a craft fair, and you'll see why in a minute. I would have to practice this a lot because look at that. It curves that way. Really, I should try to just have one line. I'll put bling over it. Here's the back side. I wasn't lined up perfectly over there. Wasn't lined up quite perfectly there, but you know what? It's a functioning wristlet. So if I'm making this for me, I don't care. But no, I probably can't sell these. But there it is. So hopefully, if you're interested in trying these, I gave you the process, and your sewing skills are probably better than mine, so that you can make it look a little bit better than that. But I think that's a good size for my wrists, and I don't have very big wrists. I started out at 11 inches of 3/4 inch wide elastic. So it's pretty cute. I'm wondering if there would be some type of, not rickrack, but some type of ribbon that you could put over that to make it look nicer. I don't know. It looks fine. Okay, let's go ahead and get rid of this. And go back to this. Get rid of you. Thank you. Thanks, Addie. Thanks, Bobby. It has its problems, but all in all, it's pretty cute. It is pretty cute. So that was with this hardware. And then the other type of hardware you could do it with is this one with the jaw. Okay. Hey, Rosalind. Hey, Faye. Really cute. Awesome job. Thank you. Hey, Eve. Diane, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. All righty. Well, we're done. Wasn't too painful, just a few stitches to rip out. So if anybody tries these, let me know. Post them in the Facebook group. Show us what cute patterns you have. And if I think of something for that, to make that look cuter, a little rope or something around there, something would be cute around there, I'll let you know. If I put anything around there, I'll post it in the Facebook group. But thank you guys so much for being here with me tonight. I thoroughly appreciate you very, 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 very much. And I'm not a great seamstress, but hopefully you just had fun hanging out, or at least saw a new process you might try. So, hey Sonia. I don't know if Patrice is still in here. I don't know if she's going to be on tomorrow night. That is when Made by Senior Citizen or Great Granny comes in handy. We're lucky to still be sewing. Don't expect straight lines. That's funny, Gil. You're welcome. Thank you, Kristen. Thank you. Team Replay. You were with your mom. Rosalind, I hope your mom's doing okay. All right. Thank you, Ellen. All right. I will see you guys next Thursday. Oh, wait. I want to show you what I made. And I'm going to put this in a members post. If you were here last week when I made what did I make it with? Oh, Faithful Dad. Faithful Dad that I made for Tim. I did another similar thing. Let me show you what it looks like. And I made it where you could either print it, say if you have sublimation printer or a DTF printer, or you like to print on the printable vinyls, or you could cut it out of vinyl. You could cut it out of HTV. So let me just pull it up in Silhouette Studio. We need to talk puddle jumpers. Oh, well, this is covering up. Next time you have 5. Okay. I need to see what a puddle jumper is. Is that the short pants? Okay, so let me pull these up and then I'll show them to you. Why are you taking so long to open? Oh, I could take a nap. What's going on? Okay, there's that one. And I'll share my screen in just a minute. Okay, so last week we had the word dad going down the side of a shirt, and then going up beside it sideways, we had faithful. And so this is a 4th of July inspired thing. Okay, so here's one. This is the one that you would be able to make out of HTV. So it is an SVG. It's a cut file. Martha, Marilyn, can I ask for your advice? I've spent 3 days trying to set up my D2 DTF printer. It won't print the nozzle check pattern. Support hasn't been any help. Oh no, Martha. So there's 2 ways you can print the nozzle check pattern. One is on the front screen of the D2. One is from the software. Have you tried both ways? Have you tried to go ahead and just bring in a little design and print the little design? And did you have problems with that? Okay, it's the thickness you put behind and in front of presser foot. So it's not, oh, I have one of those. Thank you, Chris. If it's the little thing with the V in it and you set it up by, I have one of those. I should have used that. Martha, email me and we'll go back and forth through an email, okay? Because I can try to help troubleshoot this with you. Okay, so Evelyn, this one would be vinyl. Now this other one right here, because it has the pattern, little bitty stars in God Bless, this would be a print file. And so this one has a tiny little thing of blue sticking out from behind the red, and then a tiny little thing of blue outside the stars, just so that you don't have a star off the edge. And so yeah, this you would use sublimation, DTF, printable vinyl, which I don't love. The colors do migrate, but you know, it's fine for a short time use. And then this one you would just cut out of HTV. If you wanted, let's say you wanted to have a little offset under America, let's see, let's ungroup it. You could always add a little offset. Now it's going to fill in this little gap a little bit, but if you wanted to, you could click on offset. Okay, that's a tiny little offset. Let's hit apply before you do anything else. Let's go ahead and group all those offsets together. And then you would fill in your other color. Now, let's get rid of the red lines. There we go. So if you wanted to have a slight offset, there you go. You also have blue under this. Maybe I'll just save it that way. Now, because, so I probably ought to go ahead. Okay, is this grouped together? Everything's grouped. There's that. Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go ahead and knock that out. Let's make a copy of both of those. Now let's go ahead and knock it out. Subtract. Now you just have the blue, and then here you just have the red. That way everything is sticking to your shirt, because I do not like to layer vinyl. Okay, so here's how I'm going to put it in the group. I'm going to put it in there like this, so you have everything. Now, if you don't want the blue in the back, I didn't change the red. The red is exactly like it was before. And so you could just use the red if you don't want the black. Okay, so let's go back and save this. We're going to save it as an SVG, God Bless America. And we're going to replace it. So now we have 3 layers, not just 2 layers. Okay, so I'll put those in hopefully tonight. Hopefully tonight. Okay, so Rosalind, okay, let's see if Rosalind had an idea. Sharon, when's your birthday? Let me see if I have it on my calendar. Let's see, what month is it in? Because I don't remember having your birthday in my calendar. And I'd like to put them in. So text me. Let me know. Hey Lisa, I made a scrunchie keychain holder. Warts and all, but we did it. Thank you, Rachel. Okay, so Gail's asking, Martha, are you printing from the software? I have the same issue from the machine itself. But Gail Charles, then you could do it from the software though, the Locklick software. I would definitely try it both places, from that front screen as well as the software. All right, Bobby. Thank you. Thank you. No, I haven't gotten to the calibration yet. Thank you so much. I will. Okay. And then I think I started, hold on. the ribbon had come out of the track. Ooh. Hey, 755. Okay, if the ribbon comes out, you just move it back. Oh, Martha, I know. And DTF printers, you are hands-on with DTF printers. Oh, I missed it. Okay. Sharon, July 4th. Tim's best friend from childhood, his birthday, Carl. His birthday's July 4th. Aw. Okay. And then Evelyn, you're July 2nd. And then Geneva, you're July 12th. Oh my gosh, I need to screenshot all these. And then Linda, yours is the 11th. Now, if I say happy birthday to you on the wrong day, it's because it was in the chat. Okay, so Rosalind said they told me the same thing. The video really is showing you the fix, but you do have to look closely. Oh, Lisa, well, I look forward to that too. Lolita's the 22nd. Cheryl's is the 23rd. Oh, Martha, you've tried going from both. June 5th. That wasn't. I was going to say that was my daughter's birthday. Hers was June 2nd. My son's is January 5th. All right. Okay, thank you guys so much for being here. I will tonight or tomorrow, hopefully tonight, put those in the members tab in case anybody wants to use them. Sharon, are you coming up with a bling design for your birthday or something else? Let me know. All right, look where the ribbon is running behind the print head. Okay. Thanks, Rosalind. Thank you. All righty, so I will be here next Thursday. The Thursday after that, we're going to be off. We leave that day, and we'll be gone for about a week. So it may be 2 Thursdays in a row that I'm not on, but I'll definitely be here next Thursday. Well, I say definitely. Hopefully, nothing happens to me. I'll be here next Thursday. All righty, I will see you guys then. Have a good evening, guys. You're welcome. Thank you, Sharon.